Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all viewers of Good Talk Show. I am Shazlan Midwislan, a moderator today, and today we are joined by three special panels to join us discuss a current hit topic that has been the talk of communities for the past few months. Well, I am positive that every one of you is familiar with the term of vaccination, but one thing that I can guarantee of, does everyone agrees with it or completely against it? Well, today, as you see, we have three panels from three different backgrounds, which is from my right, Ms. Iman Ajidia, a social psychologist. From my left, Dr. Asma Shada, a specialist in pediatrician, while next to her is Mr. Jeffrey Anatasid, a public servant. As mentioned earlier, the idea of vaccination has gone viral as anti-vaccine movement has getting louder in articulating their stance, which has now influenced many people around. It's also discovered that there are some parents who started to abandon immunization on their children, which raised concerns among community. So, I would like to ask Ms. Iman to enlighten us. Why did this happen? Does this happen out of misconception or something else?
Okay, so thank you Miss Shazlina and Good Talk for inviting me today. Yes, from my observation, there are a few misconceptions that I can observe from this issue is that anti-vaxxers said that before vaccination were introduced, diseases had already started to be gone due to sanitation and hygiene. This misconception apparently is very trivial in anti-vaccine literature. It is true that sanitation were better during the old times, but there are statistics in 1963 shows that measles cases drop coincide with the familiarity of measles vaccine usage at that time. So from these statistics, are we still expected to believe that sanitation caused the cases of diseases to drop but not vaccination? I'm sure not, right? There are also many experiences from several countries like Great Britain, Japan and Sweden that allow their immunization to drop. I can say that the effect was dramatic. The cases rises in each three countries by 50% and up to 75% death around 1970 to 1985. Another misconceptions that I can see is that they think vaccine can immune people from getting any diseases. This is another argument that implies vaccines are not effective. Many factors are actually linked to this argument. First of all, no vaccine is 100% effective. Therefore, it depends on the individual as well, as the human body is complex on the reaction of the disease. For example, if a 100 fully vaccinated person were to expose to a disease, the probability for several to respond to the vaccine and get infected will still prevail. But of course, the rate will surely be lower than the ones that were not vaccinated. The last one is most anti-vaxxers believe that they don't have to vaccinate their child is because the disease have been virtually eliminated from their country. It is true that vaccination is implemented for us to minimize most vaccine preventable disease to a very low levels in many countries. However, in some countries, these diseases can still be seen as common. And for my observation as well, travelers too often bring diseases unconsciously into any country. Therefore, the community can be easily infected if they were not protected if they were not protected by the vaccine, and thus it will be spread throughout the country. In my honest opinion, we really should vaccine ourselves for protection and compose this as a mandatory. These diseases will always exist even though we think the chance of getting it are small. They still will infect anyone who is not protected. Then there are also small amount of people out there who cannot be vaccinated due to allergic and irresponsive towards it. So by protecting ourselves, I believe it is our responsibility to protect them, to protect those who need our protection. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Ms. Iman, for the informative explanation. So it dawned on us that based on Ms. Iman's explanation that the misconception of vaccination has emerged even a long time ago, and now it has resurfaced again to a stage where it should be properly discussed to prevent from further misunderstanding. According to recent news, in Hospital Sultanah Aminah Johor Bahru, we heard that we were informed that a 2-year-old child had died due to diphtheria infection. According to Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, a Health Director General, the boy never received any immunization since birth and had developed fever, cough and tonsils and eventually couldn't be saved. This is very saddening, and this grief event supposedly become a lesson for everyone out there, especially anti-vaxxers, that how important it is vaccination for human well-being. But somehow, there are still many things the other way. And I would like to ask Dr. Asma, what do you think about this event? Why it doesn't even change people perspective on vaccination? There are many other misconception that has influenced their thought?
Okay, thank you for our panel and Ms. Shazlina for this opportunity. Today, I would like to share regarding misconception of vaccine to anti-vaccine argument. The most reason why people who oppose vaccination as known as anti-vax, this is because they doubt on the halal position in the ingredient of the vaccine. Furthermore, they claim about conspiracy theories involving a new world order. They state the production of virus is spread first before the developing vaccine to get a higher income. However, in the pharmaceutical market, just make up around roughly 3%. Therefore, explanation to treat vaccine preventable disease take a higher price to compare to the cost of vaccine injection. Besides that, anti-vaccine claim that the use of the preservative in a vaccine, the quantity in that found in any particular product can make the poison. Conversely, the level of preservative used in vaccine must follow strictly with the international safety standard. It will insufficient enough to lead any health danger, a contrast to a vaccine preventable disease which can cause a death. One more thing, they claim vaccine had contained mercury. Actually, only anti-mercury they had used as antiseptic and antifungal agent in a vaccine. It also different from a hazard inorganic mercury usually found in the thermometers. In addition, this mercury had fully expelled through the excretion and only left left over in the body up to a week. The latest evidence, the amount of antimercury in a vaccine makes any attempt to connect with neurological toxicity actually is biological impossible. Moreover, thimerosal ingredient that contained in the vaccine can cause the autism. Actually, it's false because there does not have any connection between thimerosal and autism. Instead, after the thimerosal had separately removed from the vaccine, the rate of the autism still continue to increase. Hence, it confirmed that thimerosal cannot cause the autism. Anti-vaxxers state that before the progression of the vaccine, many children live in heart condition. From this, I merely pointed out that much of data attributing the children death over the decade to vaccine-preventable disease such as measles, rubella, and smallpox. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Asma, for your detailed explanation. So we can tell that they are still in the darkness of how vaccination works and to contain the ingredient in the vaccine. Therefore, I think proper exposure and information should be provided to all people out there, probably through social media, because we all are aware that social media is the most dominant and the most easier platform that can be used by any other people by just the tip of your finger. So I would like to ask Mr. Jeffrey, as a youth yourself, what do you reckon on how social media now taking control this problem? Does social media is the most stable platform, or does social media has become the root of this problem?
Okay. First of all, I want to thanks to our moderator today and our panelists for inviting me here to talk about this current issue. So of course nowadays we can get much information on vaccinations, but my question is, how far these resources lead us to a correct and clear info, or it is just make us confused or even give us a fake information? This is my story. It's all began when my parents mistakenly read about vaccines, anti-vaccines, when I was still a fetus. And after they read about this article, they refused to give me a vaccine. So what I did, I go and found about these vaccinations currently and actually from my doctor and the research that I do on these vaccinations. And I get myself a vaccine. So what I have learned through my experience was both my parents was misleading by this fake information from social media. And it is become worse when this kind of fake news is still influence millions of parents out there, and more worse when plenty of influencers are keep using this site, actually a social media platform, to confusing and to convince parents to not do or to delay the vaccinations of their children. Lately, these giant platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter become a main attention targeted on these current hot issues. In recent week, a lot of public companies has gone publicly about to block and to try to minimize these anti-vaccine misinformation issues. Luckily, hashtag in Instagram such as hashtag vaccines cause autism and hashtag vaccines are poisons has been blocked a week after a group of Facebook Instagram had announced to limiting and even to stop any anti-vaccine hoaxes through their network link, and some pages or group of featuring anti-vaccines are no longer available or been removed by this company. Twitter and YouTube took a really wise step when they announced That is, their users are no longer allowed to post or to even to upload any videos or any posts containing anti-vaccine issue. All these that are, we expected that we can stop these misinformations influence the parents out there and even to us as a youth. That's all.
Alright, this may sound sensitive to you, but I would like to ask you honestly, did you sue your parents after knowing that they didn't vaccine you?
Actually, I didn't sue them. So I believe, because what I believe is, it was just a mistake made by imperfect human like the rest of us. And I do understand the reasons behind why my parents did what they did. They were influenced because they were not exposed to the reliable resources. But now I have enlightened them the truth about the vaccinations, so they realize now the important vaccinations for our health. Thus, I encourage all youth out there to seek for reliable information or to consult a doctor, do research and spread awareness to those who are around you to avoid misconceptions and fraud on vaccinations.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey. Thank you for sharing your experience and giving the audience a piece of advice to do the right thing. We all believe that prevention is better than cure, and it is better to be safe than sorry. That is what vaccination invented for. As Mr. Jeffrey informed just now, that social media such as Instagram has implemented their rules such as blocking anti-vaccine hashtag, which is a very great measure. I would like to thank Ms. Iman, Dr. Asma and Mr. Jeffrey again for being here and share your opinions to clear the misconception that has haunted all the societies today. We all hope that by all the effort done by many responsible people, the movement of anti-vaxxers and the misconception could be stopped. So, as our time is running out, I can give another question to all our panelists. So we end our discussion here. Thank you.
Thank you.